Okay, we are live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome to another Write With Me live stream as part of our writing retreat this month for the month of June. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. I feel like my angle is a little bit low, so I'm not sure. I should try to fix that. Also, getting like that's better. Okay. How is everyone? How are you guys doing? I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to write with you today. It's going to be so much fun. Okay, you all are on. You all can hear me. Wonderful. Fantastic. So this is session number 7 of our writing retreat, our virtual writing retreat this June. All month long, we've been coming together on this channel to write together and make our author dreams come true, whether we are editing, rewriting, writing a first draft of something, whether it's a short story, a novel, a screenplay. So many different writers all over the world have joined this writing retreat, and it's been so special, so amazing. So I'm so glad you're still here with me today. This is our second to last session of the month, so it's kind of special. Next Wednesday is going to be our final session of the month, session 8. I can't believe how quickly the month went by. It's just like flew by. But anyway, if this is your first time here, it's okay. You can still join and still take part in the writing session. You don't have to have joined any of the previous sessions to join this one. It's completely like just show up and dive into your creative project wherever you're at. That's the whole point of this writing retreat. There's no one goal that everyone has to accomplish. Your goals are personal to you, and the point is just to show up for yourself and to make a habit of creativity. So I'm super glad you all are here, and tell me where you're tuning in from. Type in the chat, tell me where you're tuning in from. I see writers from all over the world logging on. It's so cool. So if you've never been to one of these live streams before, here's how they work. We're going to do 4 writing sprints total, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So 25 minutes of writing and then a 5-minute break in between. And during that break, we can chat about our stories. I'll answer some questions that pop up in the chat. And then we get back into writing. So we do that for 4 sprints. And then that's the end of the session. It should come to about 2 hours. So even if you can't stay for the whole thing, I hope you will stay for some of it and get some writing done with us. It's going to be super fun. Okay. Awesome. So many writers from all over the world. South Africa, Georgia, Argentina, California, Poland, Belgium, Finland, Michigan, Ontario, Jamaica. So cool. Amazing. I'm so glad you all are here. It's so wonderful to see you all in the chat. And I'm so glad that you're here to write with me today. It's going to be so much fun. Some of you probably noticed I have a new desk chair. That's a new addition to this space. I've been wanting to replace my desk chair for a long time because I wanted something that kind of matched the cottagecore aesthetic in here. So this one, I feel like, achieves that. I'm really happy with it. And it's super comfy too. Thank you to Hannah for the super chat. Thank you so much. Hannah said, so hyped to write with everybody today. Well, thank you, Hannah. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so hyped to write with you. So let's get into it. I'm going to set up my timer, put my journal away, and set up our first timer for 25 minutes. And if you're in the Discord, you can also join over there on Discord. And the way to join the Discord is to join my Patreon at any level. So the link to that is in the description box below. Otherwise, you can just stay here on the live stream and enter your word count when you've finished the first sprint here. So if you're on Discord, feel free to go ahead and join there. I'm going to join there, but I'm actually going to start today by doing some outlining because I'm working on the same project that I was working on last time, which is actually a project that I've been working on for many years. I think like over 10 years now, which is crazy. But I keep coming back to it because it's such a favorite story of mine. Like I just love the story. It's like a YA rom-com, hate to love romance. So it has a lot of elements in it that I love. So I've kind of worked on it over the years, and I'm currently rewriting it and adding a point of view, which is crazy, and something I never even thought of before. So it's kind of fun to just like sit with an idea for a long time. And even if you feel like you've wrote something that you're like, maybe this isn't like you don't feel like ready to publish it, just sitting with it for a while can help you to see new opportunities and ways to make it better. So that's been my experience with this book, and kind of just waiting and thinking about it for a while has helped me to see different creative opportunities to make it better. So that's what I'm working on today. I may be writing a new chapter from this new point of view, or I might just do some outlining. But I'm going to start with some outlining and see how far I get. So let's get started. I'm going to set my timer so that you can hear it ring, or feel free to set your own timer as well. Okay, guys, we're off. Good luck, and we will chat in 25 minutes. Boom, timer number 1. Fantastic job, guys. Sprint number 1 is finished. Tell me how it went in the chat. I wrote quite a bit of outline and came up with a new idea for the climax of this story, which I felt like needed a little bit of something to make it feel a little bit more believable. So I feel like I came up with a good idea during that sprint. So it was a productive one. Share your word count if you wish. Let's see, how much outline did I write? Eight words. So 708 words from me, and a super chat came in while I was writing. Thank you so much to Caster Lamb. Hi, Abby. I'm sad I can't join y'all live today. How do I know if I'm going deep enough with my character's fears/beliefs? Like, how do I ensure that their struggles aren't just surface level? That's a really good question. I would say that you can have both. So you can have surface level struggles, but there's a deeper root behind those struggles. So this is kind of the fun, like, subtext part of the story to play with, because on the surface, somebody might be trying to accomplish a certain goal, or they might be afraid of something, but really it's more of like a sign that points to a deeper fear or a deeper desire. So you should have both. And on the surface, it might look like more of a surface level struggle, but really beneath the surface, where does it come from? And where it comes from is that deeper rooted misbelief that they don't even realize they have and they're holding on to. They might acknowledge their goal. They should definitely acknowledge their goal. In fact, your character should know what they want on the surface, but they don't know what they need, right? That's the thing. And their view of the world is shaped by their misbelief and by their fatal flaw. So it's kind of like 2 layers to it, is kind of how I like to see it. Like, what's happening on the surface, and then what's happening beneath the surface, because we're going to show the reader what's happening on the surface, and that's going to point to what's happening beneath the surface. Same with, like, another way that I use to outline sometimes with characters is like their misbehavior, and then their misbelief is another way to look at it. So the misbelief is the reason for the misbehavior, but the misbehavior is the surface level thing that we're seeing as the reader, as the viewer. So a couple different ways to look at it, but hopefully that clarifies things a bit. Let's see, another super chat came in. Thank you so much, from Dave LH. I watched your video on world building, but how do you approach it with a stranger in a strange land story where the MC doesn't know about the world they've entered and gradually have to learn along with the reader? That's a really good question. I would also recommend checking out my video that's called Exposition Through Action, or World Building Through Action. It's an Ask Abby video that I posted a little while ago, several months ago. I think it was last summer, actually. But in that video, I talk about, like, how to explain a world through the action rather than through just info dumping. But as far as like a stranger in a strange land, like a fish out of water scenario where this character has just entered this land, I would still start small. In fact, in my world building video, I used an example of the Chronicles of Narnia. And I think that's such a great example of starting small, where we have everything that is immediately around the characters is what's being explained. So, for example, in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when Lucy first goes into Narnia, what we see of Narnia is not the whole government, the whole system, or the whole, magic system and the different forces at play. We don't see anything except what's immediately impacting Lucy, what she's immediately looking at. So it's kind of like just this small radius around the character. And then when Edmund enters Narnia, we start to see what he sees. And so he encounters the White Witch, but then that's the only character he encounters. It's just like very basic, simple, like we're starting to expand the world, but like one concentric circle at a time, sort of. So we start with the main character and what's immediately impacting them, and then slowly work our way out. That I find is a much more natural way to learn about a world, and it's way less confusing. So I would say ask yourself at every point where you want to give information, like ask yourself, do I need to give out this information? Is this absolutely necessary for everything else to make sense? Or can I hold off on this piece of information? Is it not necessarily impacting the main character right now? So those are some good questions to ask yourself. One more super chat came in from Christina. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for these June live streams. Any tips on how to write chaotic events like a birthday party where there's so much happening at the same time? It can be fun to play with different styles for this, I find, describing chaos. So like play with the style of like not showing us one thing at a time necessarily, but showing us kind of the big picture. That can be an effective way to describe more of a chaotic scene, is we can see like a quick image of everything rather than slowing down to look at one thing at a time. And of course, this will completely depend on your specific writing style. So it depends. It really depends on how you like to describe things. How I might describe a chaotic scene is more of a big picture description, not a lengthy description, but maybe just like quick flashes of description, short sentences, short lines where you have a few words, and you're like quickly describing the whole scene, the whole picture from like an omniscient view. That might be a good way to quickly portray the chaos of the moment without slowing the story down, slowing the pacing down. I'm going to answer one more super chat, and then we're going to get into our next sprint. Thank you to Bryna Adamo. Struggling to write the novel description. What are some important items to have a catchy description without giving away everything? Oh, I'm so glad you asked this because we just posted a perfect podcast for you. We just did one all about writing descriptions, and you need to watch it if you're at all struggling with descriptions. I'm going to paste the link in the chat right now, because in this episode we actually wrote out like description examples and compared them and contrasted them for different types of describing things. So like describing characters is one of them, and then describing like your character's feelings and their voice, their personal style, and their thoughts and their narration. And the first description example is like a scene, describing a scene but not going overload. So yeah, lots of good valuable information in that podcast. Definitely check it out. It's well worth a watch. So I'm going over my time here. I'm talking for 8 minutes, but hopefully those answers are helpful to you guys. Thank you so much for all the super chats. We're going to go into our second writing sprint, and then for the next break, I will answer some more questions. So let's get back into it, guys. I'm going to start another sprint in the Discord. So feel free to join over there. I'm just going to actually join with my word count for my outline, which is 5,093. That'll be an easier way to track it. Okay, so let's get our timers going again, and we will chat again in 25 minutes. there is timer number 2. Great job, guys. Tell me how it went in the chat. Hopefully you had a wonderful, productive second sprint. My second sprint was pretty productive. I'm very close to the end of this outline, so that's exciting. Still have to go back through it and polish up some things, but 5,395 words so far. So consider it productive. Okay, so type in the chat, tell me how it went. We're going to take a quick break and then get into our third sprint. But I saw some super chats come in during that sprint, so I'm going to go and answer those first. Writing and More asked, what is the best way to write a betrayal of siblings, like the initial betrayal? Thank you for the super chat, by the way. This is funny because I kind of wrote a similar scenario in The Other World, my new book that's coming out soon. Huge focus on siblings, lots of like brother conflict. So it's one of my favorite things to write. But as far as a betrayal of trust goes, I would first start with asking yourself, why would they betray each other? Why would one of them betray the other? Like, what is the reason for the betrayal? And really focus in on their struggle, like their conviction of the fact that they don't want to betray the other person, but there's some third component to this situation that forces them to do the wrong thing. Okay. So it forces them to kind of betray the other person, even though everything in them hates doing this. Right. So that's where the conflict is really, that's where the juicy conflict comes from. It's not just from like, I want this thing, and so I know it's going to hurt my sibling, but I'm just going to do it anyway. If your character doesn't struggle with this decision and constantly struggle actively afterwards, then it won't feel earned. It won't feel like they're an empathetic character that we can root for. So you want to keep that. You want to keep that empathy and keep us rooting for the character. So it's important to build the foundation of why they would not betray each other, and then why this third component comes in and kind of disrupts their moral convictions and forces them to do something that's out of character for them because of their conflict. Okay, so showing the struggle, the messy parts. Another super chat came in from Dark Solid X. Thank you so much for the super chat. Abby, how do I write my main characters falling in love in a short period of time and make it believable? 3 weeks short. Think Thor and Jane. Yeah. So this is also another component that I kind of wrote into The Other World as well, because there's a short window of time where 2 of my characters fall in love. And making that feel realistic is really a matter of not paying attention to the time, and more paying attention to the boundaries of the relationship. And what I mean by that is allowing these 2 characters to experience trust with each other, experience feelings of joy with each other, just having a encounter where they start to trust each other and have positive feelings in the relationship. It's really quite a simple recipe, if you will. There are lots of stories that do this really well, so well that you don't even think about the fact that it's happening in a short period of time. Tangled is a movie that immediately comes to mind for me, because like that whole film takes place in the course of, I think, 2 days, and it doesn't feel unearned at all. Like the love between Rapunzel and Flynn does not feel unearned. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is so rushed, this is so insta love, because their relationship goes through emotional progression and goes through turning points. It's not like, boom, I see you, I love you, I want to marry you. It's like it goes through different turning points, right? And you have the same timeline, say, as like a year of a relationship, but you're just condensing it. So you're hitting all the same points, but you're just squeezing it to a short time frame. Does that make sense? So hopefully that makes sense. Check out my video on Insta Love, because I did talk about that in a video one time, a case study Tangled for that video. But that would be my advice for that. Another super chat came in from Justice. Thank you so much for the super chat. I have always wanted to ask, have you seen the film Saving Mr. Banks? If so, what do you think of it? I would die if you used it as an example in the Kate and Abby show. I have seen that film several times actually. I really liked it, and I like a lot of components of it. The character building and the flashbacks, the use of flashbacks, and particularly the use of building a character, like the concept of building a character who's kind of reserved and kind of her internal conflict is pretty like behind closed doors. You don't really learn her internal conflict until deeper into the film. And they do a great job of revealing the internal conflict in a really subtle way through flashbacks that makes it feel so realistic and still keeping her a very sympathetic character that you can root for. So yeah, that would be a good story example to kind of unpack in the Kate and Abby show. I will keep that on our radar for sure. But yes, I have seen that film and I really liked a lot of things about it. Rav asks, I want to be an author. Thank you so much for this super chat. How do you suggest I go about trying to make my writing a whole career? Like not just writing one book, but many. Just write. Just keep writing. Write for the love of it. Have fun with it. Write everything that you can think of. Any idea that comes to mind. It could be crazy. You might think this isn't saleable. This is not a good idea. Write it anyway. Write something that you love. Just keep writing over and over and over again. And you'll find that you build up this inventory of all of this stuff you've written. And a lot of it is going to be the foundation building blocks of your writing career. Even if you have to revisit some of those manuscripts and rewrite them, it will be worth it. Trust me. And if you really love a project, I find you want to come back to it. You want to write the first draft and then let it sit and then come back to it and make it better and then come back to it, make it even better. Like that, I find it can be a tedious process sometimes, but it's so much fun if you love it. So my advice would just be to keep writing for now. And you'll find that before you know it, you have a fantastic inventory of beautiful stories that you want to share with the world. Okay, let's get into our third writing sprint. I think I did remember to post my words last time. Okay. I will answer more questions in the next break. But for now, thank you guys so much for these super chats. It means so much to me. Your support means everything to me, and I'm so happy you're here. So let's get into the next sprint. I started the sprint in the Discord, so feel free to join over there. I'm going to join. I'm going to keep working on this outline and see how far I get it. I want to outline like some chapter index cards next, so that's what I'm working on. Let's get back into it. Great job, guys. Sprint number 3 is done. Hopefully it was a good one. Mine was really good. I pretty much finished this outline. I still have to figure out like some of the points of view that I want to do, because like I'm not sure whose point of view is going to be for each chapter yet, because I'm changing some existing chapters to be the new point of view. So we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, I ended up with 5,874 words. So pretty good. So I guess I added another basically 500 words, and the outline is pretty much done. So now I'm going to move on to the index cards. I said I was going to do that last time, but I never even got around to that. Okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions, and then we'll get into our final writing sprint. Let's see. Madeline says, how do you know when a novel/project is finished versus when you keep adding more to it? Also, I just got accepted to ARC Read the Other World, and I almost cried when I got the email. Oh, I'm so happy you're on the ARC team. That's so amazing. By the way, guys, there's still time to join the ARC team. And if you want to do that, head on over to my channel and check out my latest video all about how to join the ARC team. All the details are in that video. How to join, go on NetGalley and request to read my book. So if you want to join the ARC team, there are still openings. I'm still actively bringing new people on board, so check out that video. But your question, Madeline, how do you know when a novel or project is finished versus when to keep adding to it? My general rule of thumb is like, I know it's finished when I feel truly proud of it. And I'm like, you know what? I am so excited to share this with the world. I can't wait any longer. And I know that's a little bit different for everybody how to determine this, but I find that when you know, it's like when you are reaching this place where you feel truly proud of it, and you feel like I've accomplished what I set out to accomplish with this story. There's no part of it that feels like it could be improved upon fundamentally. And I know that you will still have some hesitations like, oh, well, I'm constantly becoming a better writer, and maybe even, I'm a better writer today than I was the past few months ago when I finished writing this. But yes, your style will always change, and your style will always improve. But there comes a moment when fundamentally the story has accomplished what you set out to accomplish, and you're proud of it, and you're excited to share it with other people. And that to me is the moment when you're like, okay, it's go time. Like, let's share this with the world. But that will be different for everyone. So it's important to just follow your heart on it. Let's see. Lily Cole asks, how much emotion should be in one chapter? I don't want to overcomplicate it. That's a good question. I think that a balance of emotion is an important thing, mostly to focus on the emotions that matter the most to what is presently happening in the scene. So your character probably has a lot of emotions about many, many components of this story and the conflicts that they go through. But what matters to the scene is what you want to be highlighting. Okay, the emotions of this particular scene and how it's immediately impacting the main character. Yes, they have thousands of emotions about lots of other things, and so do the other characters in the scene. But keeping the conflict, both external and internal, really focused on the one main point, the one overarching point of this particular scene, I think will help to make it feel not overcomplicated, right? It's kind of just all pointing back to this one main subject, this one goal, or this one point of this particular scene. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. How do you write a good love triangle? This is from Ava. That's a great question. I actually made a video on writing love triangles, but my rule of thumb for love triangles is that, and again, funny, timely question because The Other World has a love triangle, big focus on a love triangle in that story. to me, the best love triangles are the ones where each character's conflict is so relatable and so understandable, and none of them are really like in the wrong. Like you can kind of root for each one of them, all three of them, for different reasons because they all feel real and relatable, and like their conflicts and their struggles are legitimate. Like that's what I would focus on the most for writing a love triangle. Not so much like the dynamic of the relationship, that comes later. First, I would focus on building each individual character. So building all three characters as individuals and really honing in on, okay, what are they personally struggling with? And how are these struggles going to force them outside their comfort zone and throughout the course of this relationship? But creating first the foundation of their personal conflicts, that's what makes them relatable, and that's what makes us care about them. And once we care about them, it becomes an interesting dynamic to see, okay, now there's a problem here because we have this love triangle. So there's new conflicts that arise from that. But ultimately we care because we care about the people, right? We care about the people before the situation. So that's just kind of a rule of thumb that I always follow. Dark Solid X gave another super chat. Thank you so much, Abby. I really appreciate you doing the write with me. It gives me motivation to write even more, and all your advice are so helpful. Thank you. Thanks, you rock. Thank you so much. You rock. Thanks for the super chat. I'm so glad that you get a lot out of these live streams. Also, Brina Adamo, I'm sorry, I'm probably saying your name wrong, but thank you so much for the super chat. I just want to say thank you for these retreats and all your advice. This has extremely helped me with my novel and home my craft. Loved 100 Days, and I'm excited to read your other books. Thanks, Abby. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I so appreciate your support of my channel and these live streams, and I'm so glad that you've gotten value out of them and inspiration. That means so much to me. Okay, guys, time for our final writing sprint. Let's get into it. Let's finish strong. I'm seriously this time going to do my scene cards, not like a scene card outline, but like my chapter index cards. That's what I'm working on now. So I'm going to go ahead and start another sprint in the Discord. Feel free to join. I'm going to also start my timer. I'm going to join the sprint, but I probably won't be actually clocking a word count because I'm doing some index card outlining. So let's get into our final sprint. Good luck. is our fourth and final sprint. Great job, guys. You did amazingly. You should be so proud of yourselves for staying to the end. So cool. So tell me how it went. Type in the chat. Let me know how your final sprint went and how your whole session went. I had a great session, and I didn't strictly write any first drafting type stuff, but I did a ton of outlining. I finished the revised outline for this book. Basically, I still have to go through and figure out whose point of view goes where. But basically, all of the events of the story are sketched out in the outline, and I started putting together the index card outline, and I put together about 8 chapters worth of that. I'm kind of rejigging some of the points of view at this point with existing chapters, so it's interesting to look at chapters that were previously from one point of view and be like, maybe there's an opportunity to make this from another character's point of view, but without losing like the emotion of what the first character was feeling. So yeah, it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge, and I am finding that it's helping me to grow in different ways as a writer. So win-win-win. Wonderful, fun, productive session. I hope your session was just as productive and wonderful and joyful. Don't worry if you didn't write as many words as you wished to today. The point is to show up for yourself and to show up for your creativity and just have fun with it. So I hope you had fun today. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with all of us here on the live stream and writing together. It was amazing. And I hope to see you in the next session, which is going to be our final Write With Me session of the month, our final writing retreat session, and that's happening on Wednesday, probably sometime in the afternoon, my time. So keep an eye out. The watch page will definitely go up by Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that, and I hope to see you guys there as well. Until then, you can hang out on the Discord, and we have writing sprints in there all the time, sharing our work, talking about stories. So check out the Discord. The link to that is in the description box below this video. When you join my Patreon at any level, you get access to the Discord. So that's how it works. And I hope to see you guys there as well. Again, there are still openings on the ARC team for my new book, The Other World. I'm so excited for everyone to read this book, but if you want to read this book before the rest of the world does, you can still apply and sign up to be a part of the ARC team. So to learn all the details about that, go to my YouTube channel and click on the most recent video where I'm talking about the ARC team, how to sign up, how to be a part of that, because I would love to have you on the team. So I hope to see you over there as well. I can't wait for you to read this book, and I'm super excited for all the good things still to come. So I will see you guys in the next Write With Me live stream on Wednesday. Until then, as always, rock on.